Will the USMNT FIFA 22 ratings increase from last year? How highly rated is Christian Pulisic in FIFA 22? And lastly, what is Ricardo Pepi's rating? Well, guess what? We have the leaked US ratings for this upcoming version of FIFA 22. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? My name is Brian McDonough, and welcome to this episode of State of Soccer. If you're new here, then welcome. On this channel, we talk about all things US soccer, domestic and abroad. So smash that like button, subscribe, and be ready to comment below. Because on this episode, we are digging into the United States men's national team's leaked FIFA 22 ratings. If you're anything like me, then you're a nerd for FIFA ratings. For whatever reason, year after year, these ratings become larger than life, sometimes shape your impression of specific players. Well, today, let's see how the USMNT fared in FIFA 22. Last thing before we get started, what you see here is the September 17, 2021 most recent FIFA ratings according to EA Sports. The roster displayed here is EA Sports USMNT starting 11 according to the past couple of matches. And keep these ratings in mind because I'll be not only displaying State of Soccer's current best 11, but each player's increase since last season. We will then wind down the episode with a full 30-man roster. Let me be clear, this roster I'm building is based upon active US players, those who have been featuring for the US, and some players that I think Berhalter could call in. The point is to get an idea of the current US player pool ratings in FIFA 22. Now, let's get started.
Zach Steffen has had a rough go of it recently. Going to the match against El Salvador, the keeper was suffering from back spasms. Only a couple of days later, he came down with COVID and had to miss all 3 qualifiers entirely. That being said, Zach is the consensus #1 goalkeeper for the US. His rating was 77, is the same as last year, but he could quickly increase with more playing time for City or the USMNT. Shifting over to left center back, we have John Brooks from Werder Bremen. John Brooks is a veteran defender, one of the most consistent center backs in the Bundesliga. His rating of a 78 does not come as a surprise. No increase from last season, but he could easily increase a point or two depending on form. Shifting to the right side, at right center back, from Atlanta United, we have Miles Robinson. The young center back for the Five Stripes has had quite a summer, scoring the game-winning goal in the Gold Cup final versus Mexico and now a formidable defender in the US lineup. Robinson's rating will increase by +1 in FIFA 22. Remember that anything I say is arbitrary. I didn't create the game, but I feel at least a 72 is validated for the 24-year-old defender. At left back from Fulham, we have Anthony Robinson. Robinson might be one of the most raw talents on the US. The left back just turned 24 years old and has been getting consistent playing time in the championship following 28 caps last season in the Premier League. A player that really stood out to me during the last stage of the World Cup qualifiers, I think a rating increase would be justified. A +1 or 74 overall seems fair to me, but for this game, he didn't gain a point and he's still at a 73. Shifting over to the right side, at right back we have Sergino Dest from Fc Barcelona. Playing for FC Barcelona definitely generates a lot of buzz. For Dest, I think the most recent qualifiers could have gone smoother, but it is no question that he might be one of the most skilled players on the US. The rating of a 76 will soon improve if Dest plays consistently well for a struggling FC Barcelona side. I would not be surprised if we see him at a 78 by the end of the season. At central defensive midfielder for Red Bull Leipzig, we have Tyler Adams. It is hard to argue with a no increase for Tyler Adams. Adams has been injured for quite some time and appears now to be getting fit for matches. Since his return, he has been tremendous for the US and Red Bull Leipzig. I sincerely think that had Adams not have gotten injured, he would be sitting at around an 80 overall, which to me would be well deserved. Shifting over to central midfielder, we have Brenden Aaronson from Red Bull Salzburg. When it comes to Brenden, I think that this could be the worst rating out of my best 11. There is no reason that Aaronson should not be at least a 74 in my opinion. He has continuously improved every year since being named an MLS Best 11 in 2019, and I think that anything less than a 72 is just plain ignorant. The man has been consistently scoring and starting in league play and Champions League matches. Wake up, EA Sports. On the other side, at central midfielder, we have Weston McKennie from Juventus. There isn't much to say about Weston right now. I think that all USMNT fans are very disappointed in him, but he needs to be plugged back into the starting 11 as soon as possible. As for his rating, I think that at most he deserves a +2 or a 79 for FIFA 22, but I don't think a 77 in FIFA 22 is unfair. Very interested to see how he bounces back with the US roster in the next qualifiers. At left wing, we have Captain America from Chelsea FC, Christian Pulisic. I think that Pulisic is rated fairly, at a +1 or an 82 overall in FIFA 22. Christian didn't have the best season last year, but still showed his brilliance at times. Captain America had a good summer with the US, and I think he will continue to build off of his improved play with not only the US, but also the reigning European champions. At right wing, from Borussia Dortmund, with a +1 increase in FIFA 22 to bring him to a 78, Giovanni Reyna. Considering how much potential Reyna has and the fact that he plays a major role in a potent Dortmund attack, I agree with this rating. Reyna, like Dest, Aronson, and Adams, could easily find his rating increase over the next season in FIFA 22. In fact, I don't think it would be out of the question to award him a 79 rating right now. But in reality, I think a slight increase +1, 78 overall is fair. At striker, and new to my best 11 from FC Dallas, with a +4 in FIFA 22 from 21, Ricardo Pepi. If you watched my last episode, then you know what I think about Pepi. He should be rated a lot higher, but I also am a realist, and growing a rating takes some time. For now, a +4 or 64 overall in FIFA 22 is a respectable growth, but in reality, I think we might see Pepi jump to a 74 this season in FIFA 22. What do you think? In an effort to provide you as many leaked US names as possible, let's now take some time and round out my preferred 30-man roster. Below, I'll group the remaining substitutes or camp players in their collective positions. You'll get a glimpse of their FIFA 22 rating and increase. So let's start with the goalkeepers. From the New England Revolution, with an increase of +1 to make him a 75 in FIFA 22, Matt Turner. From Nottingham Forest, we have Ethan Horvath, who didn't improve with his rating this year. He'll be at a 71. The defenders. Mark McKenzie from Genk, a +1 increase, brings him to a 70. Walker Zimmerman from Nashville Soccer Club will stay the same at 74. George Bello from Atlanta United will stay the same at 66. Reggie Cannon from Boavista will stay the same at 73. Shaq Moore from Tenerife will increase by 2 points to bring him to a 72. Matt Miazga from Alaves will stay the same at 72. And James Sands from NYCFC will increase by 1 point to bring him to a 70. And now the midfielders. From the Colorado Rapids, with no increase and still to 71, we have Kellyan Acosta. From Venecia, Gianluca Busio will stay the same at 67. Sebastian Lletget will increase by 1 point to bring him to a 71. Christian Roldan from the Seattle Sounders will increase by 0 points, stay the same at 75, which I think is extremely overrated. And Julian Green from Greater Firth will increase by 1 point to bring him to a 71. Now onto the forwards. Matthew Hoppe, who moved over to Mallorca, will be increased by 2 points to bring him to a 68. Connor de la Fuente from Marseille will be increased by 4 points to bring him to a 68. Jordan Sibachou from Young Boys will be increased by a point to bring him to a 72. Josh Sargent, Norwich City, no increase, 71. Daryl Dike, Orlando City, no increase, 68. So that does it for my current USMNT starting 11 and 30-man roster. Remember, the entire point was to create my current best 11 and display each player's FIFA 22 ratings. I also wanted to take it a step further and show the entire 30-man roster for the US to give you an idea of the ratings for this upcoming FIFA 22.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of State of Soccer. I'll see you guys all next week, and until next time, go USMNT.